Hello everyone, and this is my review for TNA Impact Wrestling on June the 14th, 2016. And well, this was the fallout of the Slammiversary show. Slammiversary, if you didn't watch the other review for it, was what I would say a pretty darn good show. I thought the show ended up being a lot of fun to watch and everything on that aspect. And of course, this show is supposed to be the fallout of it. And would storylines continue? Would they just end or anything in that sense? So, let's get into the show. Let's get into the show right off the bat. They started off the show with Bobby Lashley. He won the World Heavyweight title right in the main event of Slammiversary. He starts off the show, starts gloating about everything, about how he is and how this night was supposed to be the Gold Rush, where it was named Gold Rush, but no one wanted to challenge him. Everybody was running from him. No one wanted to face him, which prompted EC3 to come out. And again, with EC3 coming out here, not a bad promo. They're playing off the whole aspect that most people thought that you wouldn't see Drew and Lashley go one-on-one so quickly again. But it does eventually end up being that aspect of everything, with Drew Galloway coming out there and announcing that he was going to have the World Heavyweight title match that night. And I do like the aspect that, one, he comes out showing signs of a little bit more weakness from his match, and the brutal style of match that those two put on against each other at Slammiversary with him and Lashley. And I even like how Lashley even makes it look like you look like hell right now. It's like you don't look like you're in that good of shape, but the match was still made anyway. You even had a backstage promo with EC3. It's talking with him, kind of trying to play games and trying to talk him out of it, and saying that he needed to wait till he was healthy to get his rematch and everything on that aspect. But you have Drew having none of it. Drew saying you will get EC3 will get his world title match, but it's going to be against him. So I like these some of these aspects. It keeps Drew in that character. A character that he doesn't care. He's going to go out there and do it. You also have the aspect of EC3, trying to talk his way into the World Heavyweight title match, but still also kind of showing it as a little bit of concern towards Drew Galloway to go along with it. It kind of goes into that aspect that, EC3 is not the perfect face by any stretch of the imagination, but he also does play the face tendencies in this case. You even had a backstage promo with EC3 and Bobby Lashley in there, and to go along with everything on that aspect. And I'll talk about the main event a little bit later on. So we're going to switch areas here. And like I said, this show was called the Gold Rush. And that pretty much every title was going to be on the line. Well, every title except for the Knockouts title, which was kind of weird that they didn't put that one on the line. I mean, in the end, they only had 4 matches on the show. And they did have a lot of promo time to go along with everything on this show to go along with it. So the first match that they had was Eli Drake defending the King of the Mountain title against Jeff Hardy. This match was basically set up as one of those things where they were doing a Facebook type event, and Eli Drake got in the face of Jeff Hardy and eventually led to a match. It's okay on that aspect. The match itself, not a bad match between the two of them. It ends up ending in disqualification because Matt Hardy interferes, and he's still the broken Matt Hardy. And they go to commercial break and everything like that. And it's not your typical DQ finish. It's Matt came in and attacked Jeff. No, he came in and attacked Earl Hebner, and was biting Earl Hebner's hand throughout the entire time. It was really interesting. Really interesting. So by interesting, I mean, you could take that either as good or bad in any way, because I personally feel like this feud should have ended with the Full Metal Mayhem match at Slammiversary, but it looks like they're going to continue it on. Now, and now after they do a commercial break real quick, not after I do one, but after they did one, you have Jeff still in the ring trying to call out Matt, and Matt shows up on the same set of stairs that Jeff had swantoned him off of, or had swantoned off of during the I Quit match, and caused all of the quote unquote causing all of Matt going into this state, not thinking about his wife, not thinking about Matt, not thinking about Rebby, not thinking about Maxwell and everything in that sense. And that, Matt Hardy trying to give more justification of why he is what he is right now, and that he was going to challenge brother Nero to another match. This segment came off a little wishy-washy. It ended in a pretty interesting way because you have Matt and Jeff brawling on the stairs, and Rebby gets involved with the fire extinguisher and causing Jeff to get blinded long enough that Matt takes control and eventually slides him. And Jeff was originally going to take a table with him, but Matt goaded him up there by saying, "Fight me like a man." So he sets it down near the stairs, and then eventually, when Matt had garnered control, he slides Jeff down the rail and into the table. It was an interesting looking spot, and actually a very dangerous one. Though I'm not shocked that they would go with it in this sense. You do get a couple promos from Matt and Jeff later. Matt backstage challenging Jeff to a six sides of steel match, and Jeff Hardy accepting it. Here's the one good thing about this aspect, that I think we're going to get the blow off to this feud very soon, versus having to wait for another pay-per-view and going through a whole bunch of other things to set up one more match. They're going to get it done rather quickly here, and honestly, like I said, I feel like this should have ended at the pay-per-view itself, but it ends out, it's going to end in a six sides of steel either next week or the week after, or something in that sense, whenever they decide to do it for the show. So, like I said, you if you're looking forward to this feud ending, it's going to end next week, or probably end with this last match, or we'll see where they go with everything. I don't think they can do too much more outside of they've done Full Metal Mayhem, and now they're doing a six sides of steel. They're doing a cage match, and that's usually a blow off to a feud right there. So we'll see if they decide to do that with that one. Second match of the night ended up being Eddie Edwards going up against Trevor Lee, and one of two rematches from the Slammiversary. Obviously, Trevor Lee getting his rematch against Eddie Edwards, and now Shane Helms will be at ringside for this match because, and I loved what Pope did on commentary. It's like he does have his manager's license, so you technically can't keep him away from there, even though that they felt it was right for him to be barred because he had been getting involved in matches. So they even used the old manager's license. Man, I haven't heard that one in a long, long time. It's been such a long time since I've heard them talk about something like that with managers and everything. But overall, the match with Trevor Lee and Eddie Edwards, not a bad match. It was fun to watch. I even liked the spot at the end of the match where, Shane Helms does start getting involved in the match, and Eddie Edwards had kicked him away or something in that sense. And right before the end of the actual match, Eddie Edwards is a little bit is kind of countering Trevor Lee a little bit while Trevor Lee was in control, and instead of going in a pretty fluid spot too, it's like Trevor Lee looked like he was gonna go off the ropes to do a move himself, and it looked like Eddie Edwards was following to hit Trevor Lee. Instead he goes by Trevor Lee, dives out, and takes out Shane Helms. It was a pretty good looking spot to begin with. Overall, like I said, not a bad match between the two. Obviously Eddie Edwards going over in this case, which I feel is probably the best idea for that one. So, like I said, overall, not a bad match, and we'll see where they go with the whole Eddie Edwards as X Division champion. Up next, before I get into the other ones, they did have a few more promos to go through. By a few more, really just 2 more promos to go through. Both of these. One with Marty Bell. Her promo about Jade. This was pretty good. This was pretty good. They gave it a real feel to it. Marty talking about friendship, the friendship and everything, and that the dollhouse was really theirs because, like, how many leaders did they go through? They even brought the aspect that there were so many different leaders of the dollhouse that it felt like the old dollhouse thing was about Jade and Marty Bell, and bringing up the whole aspect of a 9-year friendship, bringing the aspect that they were signed to TNA at the same time, and that when she got that Knockouts title, it felt like that title became her new best friend. So you got that promo from Marty Bell in there. Jade interrupts and starts attacking Marty because obviously she cost her the Knockouts title at Slammiversary, and it looks actually like a decent start to a feud here. Let's see where they go with this. This is actually not that bad to begin with. So with that being said. With that portion being said, let's go into the next area, which was the Hall of Fame inductions. They were giving out who was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame at Bound for Glory, and I would agree with this. I would agree with this one because this is one of those segments that they put on the show that comes off a little bit more real, and it should, because they're honoring somebody who had been a part of the company for a good chunk of time. Obviously they've done it with Sting, Jeff Jarrett, Team 3D, and Kurt Angle. Now all of those guys are now gone. This one might stick around for a little while. I don't know, but they introduced that they were going to induct Gail Kim into the TNA Hall of Fame. I think it's a good choice because she was the beginner of the Knockouts division inside of that company, and had left the company for a little bit to try to go back to WWE. It didn't work out there, and she came back and continued busting her backside the entire time, trying to put on good matches, getting things over, and making people. And honestly, and in all honesty, if you look at it with how WWE is now trying to portray their women's division, the Knockouts division was kind of portrayed in that light, in the terms of these women were taken a little bit more seriously about their in-ring work. And that was one of the things Gail Kim and most of those Knockouts had done, was change the perspective and what the women would do inside of the ring in some way. So I thought it was a good choice. They made a great video for Gail Kim to go along with it, and really nothing more to say there other than I think it was a good choice. They definitely needed to put a knockout in there at some point in time, and Gail Kim is the right choice. So this brings me to another promo. I'll get into this promo, and then I'll get into the last 2 matches of the night, which was Michael Bennett and Maria. Michael Bennett and Maria, they had a little backstage thing where they were saying it's like, they were very angry with what happened at Slammiversary with Michael Bennett. Like, Bennett was even tempted to leave the company at the time. It's like, my bags are packed, we're leaving. But Maria's like, no, we're going to go out there and get everything we want right now. Type thing. And they come out there, they start shooting off on everything, wanting management to come out, mostly Dixie Carter, but Billy Corbin comes out first and starts kind of trying to make it feel like he's coming out there to calm things down and everything like that. But Maria was having none of it, calls out Dixie again. Dixie comes out there, and they have a good back and forth. Like, these I've never been a big fan of Dixie Carter on the terms of microphone, but it almost felt like these two were semi-shooting on each other to begin with, and this promo came off pretty good between Maria and Dixie Carter. And let's face it, even though Michael Bennett and Billy Corbin were out there, the main focus here was about Maria and Dixie, and the two of them just going off on each other the entire time. The segment actually came off really good. It ends with
with Maria getting slapped by Dixie. As you know, Dixie was trying to leave, and Maria wasn't having any of it, and then Dixie just slaps her, which was probably one of the weakest slaps I've seen to begin with. Then again, we've seen a whole bunch of slaps that are a lot harder hitting to begin with in the days of wrestling. So probably not the most effective slap, but in the end, it got the point across with what they were going for there. So up next, well, this one actually happened later in the show. This happened beforehand, but I'm going to talk about it now because I wanted to get to the last two matches as the last two things. You had a Fatal 4-Way Tag Team title match, Decay, the Bromans, you had the Tribunal, and you had Hamali Shira and Grado in there. Overall, the match itself, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't really do much of anything outside of putting Decay over a little bit more, which I have no problem with. You also had a decent promo from him before they came out there for their match, and you, of course, had Decay go over by pinning Grado in this match. Overall, the match was fine. I thought it was good, but it had some good spots in it. But like I said, overall, this match doesn't fully serve a purpose because they are probably looking for some feud within the tag team division. So they definitely got this out there to at least make sure that the tag titles were out there in some way, shape, or form. Like I said, I liked where they've gone with Decay from the beginning. So we'll see if they can continue it on, but let's get them an actual feud that means a lot more right now, or at least more for their next feud. Whomever they're going up against, whether or not they continue with the Bromans and try to make it more serious, or whomever they decide to go with afterwards. In that case, they need something that makes them solidified a little bit more as those tag team champions. So this leads into the main event of the night, which was Drew Galloway against Bobby Lashley, world title on the line, and you had EC3 doing commentary. So you knew something was going to happen with EC3. You really did. You just knew it. And it does come off as a really good match. And it almost, I won't say they did move for move the exact same match that they did 2 nights ago, but they gave it again that real fighting type feel between the two of them. Like these two were brawling. Drew played off of his injuries really well inside of this match, making it feel like he was trying to battle back throughout the entire thing, giving the full-on babyface, I've got to battle back type feel. And it does end with Lashley getting the win after EC3 decides to get involved in the match. Now, the way that they made it seem like EC3 was trying to get involved was in a noble type way, because the referee gets knocked out, and obviously no other referees coming out yet. So, but Lashley's just purposefully doing more and more damage to Drew Galloway. So they make it feel like he's coming in there for an honorable reason. Lashley's trying to take a chair to him. EC3 comes in and grabs the chair away and throws it away, and then Lashley attacks him, and which causes obviously ends out then causing EC3 to want to grab the chair and hit Lashley. Lashley gets out of the way, hits Drew by accident, which eventually leads into a couple more spears and Lashley going over. Overall, the match was not bad. And obviously the beginnings of an EC3 Lashley feud is in the mix here. And they were teasing this a while back before they went with Drew and Lashley, and then EC3 went off with Michael, doing the feud with Michael Bennett, and now they're definitely going about having this feud happen now. And we'll see where they go with everything, because they can tie in a lot to this. Obviously, now that EC3 accidentally hits Drew with a chair, they can throw Drew in there in some way, shape, or form. So we'll see where they go with everything on that aspect. This Impact was not bad. Not bad by any stretch of the imagination. Like I said, I thought Matt and Jeff should have ended with the Slammiversary match, but it looks like they're going to build on with that a little bit more. The matches tonight weren't bad. Like I said, big ups to Marty Bell and the aspect of the promo that she gave. I thought she did a really good job in there, and the beginnings of EC3 versus Lashley are in the mix, and they're probably going to do a few other things along with that. Obviously, they're going to probably do something with this whole Michael Bennett and Maria, and obviously Billy Corbin's going to probably play in some kind of role with the whole management style of everything. We'll see where they go with all that as well. Overall, like I said, this Impact was not a bad show. I thought the matches were at least decent, and some of these promos were actually pretty darn good this week. So that is my review for TNA Impact Wrestling. I thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.